Breaking news, nearly 800 infant remains have been found inside of a septic tank. Crews began working this week to begin excavating a site of a former church-run home for unmarried women and their babies. They are working to identify the remains of 800 infants and young children who passed there. They said many of these remains were located in a septic tank. They said the excavation of this site has been long awaited. The home was run by an order of Catholic nuns and was closed in 1961. This is one of many institutions that house tens of thousands of orphans and unmarried pregnant women. They were forced to give up their children in the 20th century. In 2014, a historian tracked down nearly 800 death certificates of children who had passed in the home between the 20s and the 1960s. However, they could only find a burial record for one child. Investigators later found mass graves containing the remains of babies and young children in underground sewage structures. These were also located on the grounds of the home. DNA analysis found that the ages ranged from 35 weeks up to 3 years. After further investigation, they found about a total of 9,000 children passed in 18 different homes. Some of the causes included respiratory infections and the stomach flu. The sisters who ran the home offered a, quote, profound apology. They also acknowledged that they failed to, quote, protect the inherent dignity of women and children in the home. They said what's next is that survivors and family members will have an opportunity to view the works in the coming weeks. Forensic experts will analyze and preserve remains recovered from the site. Any identified remains will be returned to family members, and any unidentified remains will be buried with dignity and respect. They are expecting these works to take about 2 years to complete.
I killed 800 children. I was medically experimenting.
Hi family, welcome back into the channel. I hope you guys are doing well wherever you are. My name is Sumi, of course. In case you're seeing me for the very first time, I hope you do consider subscribing on the channel. And of course, all my returning subscribers, you guys, thank you so much for the love and support. Whatever you add on this channel, it honestly means a lot to me. And by the way, still, I am going to continue reminding you guys to go ahead and share my videos, because right now, YouTube is doing something to me that I also don't understand. So just help me share my videos to many people as possible. So apparently, I think the clip that we have just watched, it has been a worldwide breaking news. Over 800 bodies of dead babies have been found in septic tanks. Imagine remains. And for your own information, these bodies were found in a Catholic, something like where the nuns stay. As for you, you're having difficulties to raise those children, you're taking them to the nun. So the nun, instead of them directly telling you that we actually can't take care of your children, they just kill the baby. Why am I even starting to bring up this video that I think majority of you guys have even watched already? I want to show you how some of these white people bad manners, or even history, keeps on repeating itself. I remember in the year 2023 in Uganda, we had a white lady who came here, was 19 years. She came as a missionary, and then after some time she started up a hospital, and then she's treating African babies, specifically in Uganda, in my country. She killed over 800 children. Now we are seeing that over 800 bodies were found in a septic tank, and then in 2023 we found this white lady who killed over 800 children in Uganda, in pretense of being a God's messenger in Africa to come and treat African children. At the same time, this is the same incident is happening in a Catholic community, in a Catholic environment, where we expect such things not even to happen. I want to show you guys how these people are literally using religion to manipulate people and actually do a lot of things that don't even make sense. I want us to first watch these clips and let me know what you think down in the commentary. And I'm going to come back and I close the video with my own opinion.
I killed 800 children. I was medically experimenting on children compared to Adolf Hitler, assumed to be part of the KKK. It's kind of like where to begin, you know?
Picture here is Virginia native Renee Bach. Renee claims to be on a mission from God to save the children in Africa. But ultimately, she ended up unaliving over 105 children. And if you're wondering, no, she didn't serve any jail time for this. She actually moved back to Bedford County, Virginia. Let's go ahead and get into this timeline of events. So as I hinted earlier, Renee comes from a Christian background. In 2007, Renee worked as a missionary at an orphanage in Africa. She was there for a total of 9 months. At the age of 19, she returned back home, and she decided that she wanted to start her own charity in Jinja. And she was able to do so. In her case, she was lucky enough to receive funds that were raised through her church circles back in Virginia. With the money raised, she rented a large house in one of the poorest districts in Jinja. From 2010 to 2015, Renee ran an organization called Serving His Children. And at this nutrition unit, she took in 940 malnourished children. She frequently blogged about her stories, painting herself to be a hero, but ultimately, she suffered from a white savior complex. As you can see, Renee was medically treating these children and providing all the care that she could. But Renee wasn't a doctor. She had no medical training at all. She was just a homeschooled 20-year-old with a white savior complex. So severe that she went to go play doctor and knowingly put each child she came across life at risk. The community of Jinja, Uganda referred to her as the white doctor. And for a very long time, she kept up with that act. But the act stopped when it came to diagnosing patients. Remember, Renee had no medical training, so she relied on God, gut feelings, and the Bible. One woman brought her 3-year-old son to Renee due to his severe malnourishment. 3 days later, her son was unalive. Renee provided no explanation, gave her $13.50 and her son's body to take home. And that's just one story of 105. She was sued by the Ugandan civil court, settled, and now lives comfortably back in Bedford County, Virginia. And when I say comfortably, I mean comfortably. Back in 2020, she got engaged. She left this community of Uganda to suffer. She experimented with their children knowingly, came back to the United States, went to Virginia, took no accountability for her actions, and now there's even a documentary being released on September 29th that Renee is starring in, defending her actions and chastising the people who feels that she did any wrong.
Finding over 700 infant bodies under a Catholic church does not surprise me. This is not the first time we found infants and kids' bodies under these churches. And I feel like it's something that has to be majorly fucking discussed. You know, they hide behind this whole religious shit. But the Catholics, bro, I feel like that's one of the most satanic fucking religions that there is. And no one can convince me otherwise. Like, they're so secretive with the bullshit they do behind closed doors with these Catholics. Like, from how they give the whole baptisms, and from I just seen too much shit that goes on with the Catholics that it's sad as hell. It's scary as fuck, you know what I'm saying? And then when you read more into the story, it's about like how the babies were found in a septic tank. They was just flushed down the toilets. Abortions was given to these women. And it's like, knowing that what these priests are doing to the kids and to the women, it's all fucking insane. And it's always the same shit. It's always the kids. It's always the women. And to find over 800, damn near 800 babies, infants, kids, children's bodies in a septic tank like this, like, and what's crazy is they can't even trace who these babies belong to, who the parents were. They would have to go back into so much damn documents to even find out exactly who the fuck these kids are, that like it would take some time. But like the whole entire story within itself, y'all, is honestly very fucking creepy, and it's very alarming.
I do not know what the hell is going on in Cruise, Ireland, but they found 800 baby remains in a septic tank. And this is supposed to be an Irish home for unwed mothers. It was ran by nuns, but it's been closed for decades. A historian named Catherine Corliss says she tracked down the death certificates of 800 babies, but she only found one burial record. Now, how in the hell did a home for unwed mothers turn out to have 800 infant remains buried underneath the home in a septic tank? They said, the historian Catherine Corliss, they said that they ridiculed her in her own hometown. They ridiculed her. They called her delusional and obsessive. She spent 10 years tracking this down. They told Catherine that she's a disgrace, and they hope that the nuns take her to court. The backstory is, in 2014, Corliss tracked down death certificates for nearly 800 children who died at Bon Secours mother and baby home in Swan between the 1920s and 1960s. 1961, but could only find a burial record for one child. After extensive research, she believed the remains were buried somewhere on the property. The home, which was run by order of Catholic nuns and closed in 1961, was one of many such institutions that housed tens of thousands of orphans and unmarried pregnant women who were forced to give up their children throughout much of the 20th century. 2017, investigators confirmed Corliss later found a mass grave containing the remains of babies and young children in an underground sewage structure on the grounds of the home. DNA analysis found that the ages of the dead ranged from 35 weeks gestation to 3 years. About 9,000 children died in 18 different unwed mothers' homes in Ireland. Most died from natural causes like gastroenteritis, whooping cough, tuberculosis, and diphtheria, but at the Bon Secours home, those 800 deaths were never recorded or even acknowledged. In 2021, the Irish government apologized for the unrecorded deaths, but I guess they didn't find the bodies, but Catherine Corliss did. The excavation began just this week, so they just found them babies. This is sick. To think that this facility was being run by nuns, and this is the type of ish that was going on.
So now I think you understand every time I keep on telling you what they call white supremacy. This lady who comes to Uganda, this white lady, she doesn't have any degree or any experience in medicine. But she comes here, she forms a hospital, and now she's triple. She kills over 800 children. She travels back to her country, and still nothing happened to her. She wasn't taken to jail. Even in Uganda, nothing happened to her because she's white. Are they scared of her? Because she's white, they think if you're white, maybe you're supposed to be righteous. These are just human beings. Like, imagine if it was a black man who came and did such a thing in Uganda, or even any other country. This is how these people manipulate us. There is a scenario also, there is something that I myself, I grew up seeing. I grew up seeing some of these white people coming to these African countries with candy, with sweets, and they are giving to African children. But do you know what do you know what is always in those sweets? I myself, my mother stopped me, my parents stopped me from eating those sweets. Every time we would come back home with these sweets and we're like, Mommy, this white lady, this Muzunga has given us these sweets. She'll be like, don't eat them. You don't know what is in those sweets. Those people don't love us. Don't love us. Why are they giving you sweets? Why? And why are they even portraying a picture that in Africa we are poor? That is what literally they put on the TV, that Africa we are poor. We don't have medication. Because I'm imagining someone with no medical background, someone who doesn't have any skills, to be given a permission to come in a country to start up a hospital and is literally treating children. He doesn't even know which medicine to use. He ends up killing children and no one talks about it. And what is even surprising me right now is the fact that now he has a documentary that is out and people are going to go there and watch. How crazy is that? And now we are also seeing this same incident. Over 800 babies found in a septic tank. And still, these are white people under the name of religion, under the name of Christianity. Manipulation and white supremacy on its highest peak. Now, I don't know what you guys think about this, but this is revealing exactly how white people be. The more they pretend that, oh, we love you, we love you, we love you, they really don't. They don't. They don't. Imagine seeing such an incident happening in a Catholic, where nuns literally stay. As you take your babies there, you think your children are going to be okay, they are going to be fine. You find out that your babies, and I'm sure by the time you go back to see if your child is okay, when your child died long time ago, they won't tell you where your child is. Now, I don't know who discovered this, but I'm glad that they at least put it on the internet. I'm glad they did. At least now we have some evidence for these white people. So, I don't know what you think, guys. I think let me end here. We shall meet again in another episode that I'll be uploading.